Oh, with all the slurping. Good morning.
Wow.
Good morning, MugClub.
There you go.
You think Robin Williams is in heaven going,
Good morning, Vietnam.
that's a copyright violation.
How dare you, Steve?
We need to file a hard strike. That's a trademark. Big penis. That's the kind of stuff he says.
You can't say that.
Really glad to have you today. We have no guests because we realize that a lot of people in Good Morning Mug Club don't want guests.
Well, that's
we
weird of
have
them.
My half-Asian lawyer, Bill Richmond, is here.
Hey.
And look, right next to him, there is Gibbon. Goebbels. How are you, Gibbon?
Great.
Tell them what your race is.
So I am Norwegian, Danish, Welsh, and 1/4.
Remember how I said relax? Relax. Bring the mic to you. And he's like, I am partially Welsh, like the lady from Frasier. Apology accepted. We'll go back to you. It's okay. Loosen up. Loosen the shoulders, baby. Get a little loosen the shoulders. Quarter Black Garrett is here.
What's up? Good
Audio
morning.
Wade is here. Yeah, you look very black when you're dressed like the husband in Lady and the Tramp, getting chop suey.
Ain't nothing wrong
Too
with
Cute Maddie is on overlays. Gerald A. How are you, sir?
Doing very well.
Good.
I'm a morning
Very nice.
person. I'm good to go.
We have a lot to get to. We do have some information that I've stumbled upon that no one else seems to be talking about. They seem to have missed. I know it's hard to trust a guy in a bathrobe.
But try.
But do give it your best effort. Of course, go to loudwithcrowder.com/schedule, by the way, so you can see all of the... what is this? This is down here. I have to look down on my iPad. Loudwithcrowder.com/schedule, so you can see all of our broadcasts. We have them in the morning. We have them at night. It is Mug Club Quarantine Month.
Many.
Enter in the promo code QUARANTINE. You get $30 off. If you're renewing, just do it, please.
Yes.
Please.
Because
We
this is what
appreciate it.
keeps us afloat, and we are trying to give you as much content as humanly possible. Okay, Gibbon, let's give it another quick check.
Yes, sir. So I am here.
Relax. Sir, yes, sir. I said at ease. All right.
All right, look, Steven, I'm here because I'm a quarter Okinawan.
Okay, that's right.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. I thought he was
right.
Italian for the longest time.
Quarter Okinawa.
So how did that? Is there like a military history in your family? Is that how it happened?
Hey, you know...
No, I'm being
hold
serious.
on. Even if you didn't know Gerald's name, and you didn't, and all you heard was Gerald's voice, and even if you didn't hear his voice, and you just saw a transcript of that question, you would know Gerald was an old white guy. Right? I get that question all the time.
So
Is your dad in the military?
Was your dad in the military?
No.
Was he stationed?
No, he smoked a lot of
Let
weed.
Gibbon answer.
Sorry, go ahead, Gibbon.
What's your answer, Gibbon? I
That
lost
said,
track.
yes, Gerald. It is correct.
Thank you very much. F you
All
all.
right. Reg, our researcher, is giving me new updates. That's enough, Reg. You don't need to give me the updates from all the news. Right now, he's like adding in.
Yeah,
it's like,
like
it's
all
like
the
on Ferris
stuff. Can't
Bueller
stop.
when it
Yeah, turn 'em
changes the absent days down to 9. Grace. So I guess right now there is. We can bring this up to Cute Maddie. CBS just posted an article that New York City has to dig mass burial pits for everyone who's died from COVID.
What?
So I guess their tweet doesn't claim it.
Yeah, we've got the
But
tweet.
it's trending under Trump burial pits. What was that?
It was just a
Ooh.
little something for you.
All right, get that right, or someone's going to be
The voices of
someone's
the
going to
dead.
be collecting double the checks because you'll be unemployed, so you'll make more money.
Yeah, that's not the worst.
We got it. Do we have it up?
Yeah,
right
we
now?
have the video
Okay.
from the tweet.
There we go. Do we have it? Let me see it.
Go ahead and play it.
We're doing
fine.
it.
Okay, never mind. So the truth is,
There we go.
oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Burial pits.
Right. So to be clear, Hart Island is actually where any unclaimed bodies without next of kin are buried, regardless of what they die from. So they've been using it for this purpose since 1881. Around 1 million people are buried there. So I just want to be clear, you can kind of hear a portion of the
crazy.
story with COVID, but not the entirety of it, certainly not the context. And that matters. So we're going to get to the death rates. And I want to talk about this quite a bit because everyone just got really quiet. Death is fine.
Yeah.
Death
Well,
is
yeah.
funny, not death from COVID.
Your
But the
dad-
fact that they're lying about it and we're going to catch them is funny.
That is
Yeah,
funny.
that
You're
is-
right.
that's
Yes.
funny.
Your dad told me one
They'll
time, he's
be-
like, nobody's getting out of here alive. And I'm like, that's a good way
They'll
to
be
put
cut.
it.
That's a horrible argument.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, no, it's not a good way to put it because
death is the
I'm not
thing.
going to get out of here
Times.
alive, but I would rather get out of here have 85 years before I get out of here.
Exactly. He didn't say now.
Yeah, I know, but
wasn't
you
a
didn't provide that
timestamp
con- All
put on
right,
it.
this is a terrible
I think
start
he
to the
was
show.
saying that.
So before we move on to the death rates and Rhett and Link and a couple of other things today, Gibbon, we had no idea. I thought he was Italian for like 9
Oh, yeah.
months.
Yeah,
And Bill Richmond is half Asian. But it turns out, I noticed the other day when we were doing the Zhangyi video game live stream, Gibbon was, I mean, I turned to you, I said, man, you got some sun. You need to put on some aloe vera. And I was like, crap, there's a shortage. And then I realized,
Yeah.
no, he just had half a beer. right?
Yes.
Okay. So we want to test this because race is not imaginary; it's real.
Yeah.
And so this morning
scientific.
we are going to lead this off and have a countdown timer to see how long it takes to get to the point of rosacea. It's time for our in-studio Asian rosacea off. Okay, good. So now half Asian Bill Richmond is, by the
This
way,
is real alcohol.
we are taking your chat live on the Blaze as well. So let us know who you think is going to rosacea off first. How would that happen, a face-off film with Nick Cage and John Travolta? I have no idea. I'm going to take my face.
We've got some We've got some bourbon here.
I liked it.
Okay, bourbon.
So we're going to do some bourbon.
All right.
And
Did you both pour it?
It's both poured.
Go,
we
drink it.
have it. All right, ready?
Drink it right now.
All right.
And then do we have a
it.
timer? Do we have a timer for the audience?
I mean, it'd be nice.
Someone set a stopwatch if we don't have a timer for the
I can
audience.
set
All
it.
right, set a stopwatch. So
Oh,
we can check.
they've got a countdown.
Oh, they do have a countdown.
We'll use that for
Well, that's
now.
just a countdown.
We'll
What if
roll
doesn't have-
through it if
we'll
we
roll
have
through it.
to. I mean,
5 minutes.
you know.
Drink it. All of it. All of it. Liquor in the morning is good. Liquor in the morning is good.
Are we doing
Yes,
more?
it is.
Yeah.
Well, he said he thinks that he might keel over dead pretty quickly.
Wow.
Can I
want
just
that.
have more?
Yeah, you can have more.
Okay.
I feel like 30 years from now, he's going to
Keep
be
in mind, you have to get on the
therapy.
phone with YouTube or Google later.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be the one carrying that weight.
Yeah.
And by the way, for reference, we're going to have a color scale that will compare to my feet.
Oh, my.
Oh,
Please.
we're doing
My
that
foot.
again?
Stop.
That is disgusting.
It's
Let's
not
see if you're more red
necessary.
than my foot.
Please.
Okay.
This is terrible. Do
not
people even
terrible.
understand why your foot was
I
glistening?
talked about it yesterday. Yeah, I have my foot in an ice bath right now.
You did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Gerald gave me horrible medical advice. I found out
I did.
afterward that you are
Not.
not supposed to keep it in the pool of ice for more than 10 minutes. And you were like, you're
That's
fine. keep
bull
it-
crap.
You don't know anything about anything.
Every trainer
so,
in America would tell
let
you
me
you're
bring
wrong.
this up. Let's talk about the death rates. Have you guys been following this?
I have, yes.
I
Very
lost sleep over this, by the way. And I want to know, this is something I'm very curious about to people out there. How many people watching right now, does anyone have coronavirus? Have any of you actually contracted COVID-19? I forget the number sometimes. Like, what
Yeah.
are we on?
Yeah.
Are we on 22 now?
I think
We're
it
still
was
on 19.
Because it was, yeah.
And do you know anyone who's died from coronavirus? I want to know people out there. This is anecdotal, but of course we see the data, and sometimes
Right.
you don't realize what's going on until you see how it affects real folks. Name that movie line, people out there.
Easy.
But I'm going to say something here. The death stats that you're getting are bullcrap. Now, I want Too Cute Maddie to search this because this is a story that's going around everywhere in the morning. You guys have heard they're undoubtedly undercounting deaths.
Right.
They're saying there are probably more deaths than we know about. Can you bring this up, Too Cute Maddie? Yeah, run the search. If you run that search that's in there, COVID deaths underreported. Let's just type in that. COVID deaths underreported. And I ran the search this morning. Yep. Okay, there you go. Nothing but articles about how it is underreported, how there are more deaths than we know. Here are a couple of things that we need to keep in mind, okay? And everyone knows this. The original projection was 2.5 million.
Yeah.
Okay? Then Fauci just admitted that the projection of 100 and 240,000 was an overestimate. And now it's about 60,000. Now, keep in mind, some people are arguing, well, that's because of the social distancing. No. The estimate was 100 to 240,000, taking into account social distancing, that would reduce it to that number. And keep in mind that a huge portion of the social distancing wasn't supposed to have an impact yet.
Yeah.
Wasn't supposed to kick in because there were a lot of people who were carriers or who were asymptomatic.
Right.
So you cannot have it both ways. That's important to note. Here's something else. While we're talking about this and we say, but you should really trust the medical advisors, don't trust Donald Trump. Well, as we're talking about
As it turns out.
the actual death rates,
Yeah.
let's go to Dr. Burks.
Can you talk about your concerns about deaths being misreported by coronavirus because of either lack of testing or standards for how they're characterized?
So I think in this country, we've taken a very liberal approach to mortality.
That's not a face mask. She wore that scarf like a style statement more so.
Well,
She
I love
did,
it.
yeah. I love it.
Like,
Great
it's
job,
It's
actually.
it's the exact handkerchief we put on Betty after she gets bathed. So it's like, oh, she has a pink handkerchief.
Oh,
It doesn't shield you from microbes.
it could.
You should know that.
It was
no
worn down
idea.
by the
She's a
neck.
doctor.
Shields you from that. It's fine.
She's a
She
doctor.
plays one on TV.
So really quickly, too, just a couple stats that will set something up because I lost sleep over this last night. I stumbled across something that I'm amazed has not been reported on. So New York, they said they would need, remember, about 30,000 ventilators.
Yeah.
Remember Donald Trump got so much crap? You guys don't have to be statues. This isn't Madame Tussauds. Are you already drunk, Gibbon?
I don't know. It has a little.
I look at he's just staring into the abyss
Smiling.
like David at the dentist. Okay, now? Is this real life? It is, and you're Asian.
Oh my gosh, this is taking
They
too long,
wanted
isn't it?
30,000 ventilators. Remember
Yeah.
this? And Donald Trump said, I don't know what they're doing with the ventilators. We need to look into that. And
Yeah.
everyone said, well, how could dare he say that? Well, they peaked at needing only a fraction of what they thought. Donald Trump said 4,000.
Wow.
They've never needed 30,000 ventilators, or certainly they haven't reached that peak yet. Something else that is important, okay? This is how it kind of started. Last night I was looking at going like, well, people who have the flu must be compromised.
Right.
So how many people are dying just from the flu? And I noticed, we can have this overlay right here, this is the CDC image, that flu deaths and pneumonia, they've gone down to effectively 0.
Oh, that's weird. It's
When I
like
checked in at the CDC.
Historically, decades,
Yes.
no one's getting the flu this year?
Right.
Wow.
None.
Huh.
Now, here's the thing. I wanted to
Very
assume, as usual, that I'm wrong, but Reg, our researcher, is very smart. And so if I say...
And he said, yes, Stephen, you are wrong.
When I feel like I've discovered something, like I have this phobia, and it's because
Yeah.
when I was a kid and I went to summer camp and they had a prize for someone who invents something, and you just had to make it out of pipe cleaners. And what I did was I made a dog feeder where the dog pushes a button and the pipe cleaner pushes open a cereal box and it feeds him. And
That's
then,
pretty good.
Well, no, they said it wasn't Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and I realized, oh yeah, it is. So I didn't find out. So I always
Dang it.
assume that I'm wrong
awesome.
if I have the inside lane on something. So I looked, I'm like, well, 0. I said, okay, well, maybe what's happening is just, well, no, that doesn't make sense because more people would be tested for the flu going in, right? If they're being tested
Right,
for
yeah,
COVID, you would
right.
think more people are being tested, maybe because of the social distancing.
Can I
fewer-
pause you real quick?
Yeah.
More people are being tested for the flu because
Yes.
so many, most people who are going in for COVID testing aren't actually getting tested for COVID because they're reserving the test for the people who are higher risk or
Right.
showing severe symptoms. But they have enough flu tests, so all of those people are being tested for the flu. So
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
100%, we are
Right.
doing more flu tests.
Right. So the flu death rate is very low. We're testing for the
Right.
flu. Well, okay, so you just cut me off at the pass because I was playing devil's advocate with myself, but my actual advocate,
Yes, was the devil.
he's going to be on an altar with
Whoa.
Charlize
Oh, hi,
Theron.
Bill.
Yes, absolutely. Hey,
Right away with the
that
Keanu
is
Reeves
correct.
film. I'm like, was it?
And-
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, so a little.
It was Charlize Theron and Keanu Reeves and
Yeah.
Al Pacino, right?
Yeah,
And
I
Al
don't know.
Pacino's going, I'm the devil!
Yes.
You get it? Satan likes big asses! And Keanu was just, no way. Way!
Another excellent Keanu movie.
Yeah.
Oh, but a little inside baseball for those who've joined us in the morning. I know how wrong Steven is when he pitches something to Reg by how long Reg says before he answers. If you get to 3 seconds, you know Reg is thinking like, how do I tell him he's wrong?
Right. Here's the thing. I could
that's
be
good. That's
a
good.
huge idiot, and I likely, there's a good chance. But the one thing I do well is surround myself with geniuses. So you'll never
there
know.
you go.
Because when
Oh.
I'm an idiot with self-awareness. So it'd be like if Rain Man were going, Waterburn, baby, water. I'm mentally retarded. Waterburn, baby. I'm very aware. So I check with people.
There
So
you
that
go.
I was going, okay,
good
no
job.
flu deaths. That's weird. Same thing with pneumonia. I said maybe fewer people are getting tested. No,
Yeah.
more people are getting tested. And keep in mind, too, also 7 to 15% of all flu deaths every year are some form of coronavirus. Not this novel coronavirus, but some form of coronavirus. That's why your Lysol and your
Right, yeah.
mat
They
cleaner
say it.
Right.
says, hey, it kills coronavirus. We've had 17,000 deaths recorded from coronavirus. Okay? So what this is telling us right now is that all of those flu deaths, all of those pneumonia deaths, right? They're all being counted as coronavirus. So that's
Right.
important to know.
Everything's kind of being lumped
Everything
together.
is being counted as coronavirus,
Yeah.
even if they have these other conditions. And I thought, well, okay, that's not really fair because that's not the standard that we use in measuring deaths for anything else. For example, if someone has the flu and they also are undergoing chemo treatment,
Right.
we
Right, yeah.
count cancer as the leading cause of death. So right away, that's tipping the numbers a little bit, but then it gets worse. Here's what I went to the CDC website after I saw that chart and going, the flu death thing is weird. This is how they're counting deaths. A lot of people are saying, well, they're counting deaths, almost everything. They want to be liberal, as that's Hans Burks just said. This is from the CDC. Bring this up too, cute Maddie. Your people will think I'm lying. In cases where a definite diagnosis of COVID-19 cannot be made, but it is suspected or likely, compelling within a reasonable degree of certainty, it is acceptable to report COVID-19 on their death certificate as probable or presumed. In these instances, certifiers should use their best clinical judgment in determining if a COVID-19 infection was likely. So
That's very interesting.
Not only are
Can
they
I sum
lumping.
that up? Can I sum
Well,
that
hold on
up?
a second. Not yes.
Just
but
guess.
What? Yes, just guess.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Not only are they lumping in, so all of a sudden, go look at the charts. Flu deaths, boom, nothing.
Right.
Pneumonia deaths, boom, nothing now. all COVID deaths. Not only are they all being registered as COVID-19 deaths, but doctors can also, there you go, that was a chart from earlier, the flu's dropping down. But they can also make a guess that, well, we assume that person died from COVID-19.
Right.
This is important for two reasons. Science is flawless. The scientific method is flawless. Human beings applying it are not. Do you not think for a second that some leftist activist who also happens to work in a hospital in New York is not going to take every single opportunity possible to try and label this a COVID-19 death if they are not required to actually show any proof of a positive test? Just think of what the media does with this.
Or even somebody who's
one
not
more
going after
thing,
that.
and then I want to go back. One more thing. This is what's crazy about it, because you go, how can these models be so wrong? And maybe someone out there can totally correct me on this. Everything I've said here is just taken directly from the CDC website. They don't apply this same standard to infection rates. So they cannot assume that someone has COVID-19 unless they test positive. And we now know, according to the CDC, 20-something% of people are asymptomatic. 80% of people have very mild symptoms. So we cannot say, oh, that person didn't test. We didn't run a test, but we're pretty sure they have COVID, because right now they're running all the flu tests, right? They are actually trying to eliminate possibilities. So they can guesstimate. I hate that word, but I'm using it because I want to piss people off. I get that it's redundant. Estimate is to make a guess. What's guesstimate? To make a shit. We get it. It's the same exact thing.
Exponential double guess.
It'd be like me saying
true.
redundant. It's recumbent dumbent. What?
You're laying down and being
I'm just
redundant?
saying it's just redundant times two.
stroke?
That's what guesstimate is. So, no, I was doing it on purpose. That was my Joe Biden
I thought only
impression.
two of us were drinking.
So if we are saying COVID-19 deaths, you can guess, but you cannot guess. You have to have proof of infection rate. What do you think that does to the mortality rate, not the overall deaths? Far fewer they're saying deaths are being underreported. No. Infections are being underreported. For all we know, we could have 2, 3, 4, 10 times the amount of people right now out there with COVID-19. We cannot guess. We cannot estimate. But we can throw out numbers if we think within a reasonable, I guess, sort of barometer of suspicion that they could have had COVID-19. We list it as a COVID-19 death. So what can that do? That can take a mortality rate from 0.2%, 0.4% to 3% or 5%. And it's important to note that's what the models were based on. That's what the 2.5 million came from. And then the 100,000 to 240,000. So you can talk about social distancing all you want, and that is true. You should be taking your precautions, wear your masks, which we said before they said you should wear masks. I said, I bet they're going to come out and say wear masks. Ha ha! Nostradamus here, apparently. A comic in a bathrobe said, I bet you the CDC is going to change tack. But this is incredible that the models are based on this.
This is what happens when you don't have an Asian doing your math.
Right.
Well, and an Asian would know that.
Holy crap! 1 sec. Look at Gibbon. Get a close up on Gibbon.
There.
Wow. Gibbon, get right up to the camera.
Winner.
Drink.
Get right up. Get right up. Look at this.
One drink.
Oh my gosh.
My word.
Turns into freaking.
Turns out
Daredevil.
Bill
Is still yellow.
not very Asian.
Wow.
I told you guys, I'm only Asian from the waist to the neck. That's it.
Now, do you get more red? Does it increase, or is there like a rate limiting factor?
No, it'll keep happening. I'm gonna get pretty splotchy all over my body.
Okay.
Oh wow.
We don't need to see that.
I want to see it.
I think we should get photographs for later.
All right. Well, give him another drink if he's only taking one, because I want to see how far
I
this
could
goes.
use another beer for anyone.
Okay,
listening.
someone out there
Hey,
get him
bring
a
us
beer.
some beers. I'm just going to keep
Now he's
drinking
ordering
whiskey.
drinks. A minute ago he couldn't talk on camera, and I was like, bartender.
Oh, and
Let's go.
something else that I need to add here. We've had 17,000 deaths reported from COVID-19, right? A bad flu 2 years ago was 61,000. So right now, if you total up flu deaths from this year, which dropped down to zero when he had this COVID pandemic, a total of 39,000 if you add up COVID and flu. Bad flu year was 61,000. So if you add up all of the flu deaths right now, all of the pneumonia deaths, all of the COVID-19 deaths, it is still not as high as a slightly severe flu season. Now, I'm not saying it won't get higher than that, but not saying it's comparable to the flu as far as how easy it can be transmitted. But we don't shut down the entire economy for that number, not even close. And this is with the books being cooked. And you correct me if you think I'm wrong. I think if you are allowed to guess, if you lump all deaths under COVID-19, regardless of what other comorbidities are there, and then you're allowed to guess and say, let's chalk it off as COVID-19, but you cannot do it with the actual infections, I think that's dishonest, and the American people should know. Why is it considered journalistic malpractice to let the American public in on positive news?
Right. I have no idea. And I think the whole point to this is that we're all willing to make a sacrifice. We're all willing to do what we need to do to stop some kind of threat, but the response needs to be in proportion to the threat. And right now, we don't understand the threat. And so when you come at me with 2.5 million deaths early on, that means, if you extrapolate it out, about 100 million people in this country of 360-ish million, 350, whatever it is, are going to get this virus. Where in China, even if they were lying by a factor of 10, they had 1 million.
Yeah.
You're telling me we're going to have 100 times what China had?
Right.
And 2.5 million are going to die? None of it made any sense, but that's the number that we use to say, oh, God, we have to close everything.
Right.
We
even
have to close
even
everything
using
down.
the numbers that they use right now,
Well,
we're
no,
not
you
past
go down to 250.
But you know what
That's
I
10
think?
million.
I think if you actually want to know the number of people who are young, and I don't even mean under 50, and relatively healthy, these people could still be overweight, by the way. I'm not talking about the
there
appearance
could
of
be a
health,
lot
but
of
people who
things
don't have
going on,
severe conditions already.
Yeah.
If you want to know the total number of people who will die from COVID with that, we're already well past that number. The number now, the total deaths, is actually significantly higher than I think we will ever reach as far as young, healthy people. Now, again, what did we do on this program? We said it could get really bad, but there's some politics at play. Then I had my doctor on, Dr. Choi, who's Korean. We talked about it, told people what precautions they could take. We've tried to be as clear as possible, and I do think that a lot of this, not the fact the virus is not a hoax, of course not. I'm not saying that
at all.
But the political fallout, we will look back at this as one of the greatest shams perpetrated on the American public.
Yeah, with some of the most dire consequences. Closing down the economy like this, it takes time to come back. So
Right.
it's not going to be easy. Did
It's
you guys
gonna
get
be a
another
long
drink
time.
already? Oh, my gosh.
Keep drinking. I want to see how
Steven,
bad
Wow,
it is.
this is...
I'm going to level with you. It's usually freezing cold in the studio, but I'm about to take off every item of clothing that I'm wearing right now.
no.
That's totally fine.
Wait, blotches.
Are we allowed?
Can we see the blotch? Can you check? Let's check. You don't have to be on camera. We don't need to check the blotches right now.
You want a blotch check?
Well, you check it, but you know what? While you're doing that, you check it. Let's. I believe we have Thomas Finnegan, don't we, with a
do,
traffic
yeah, we
report?
do.
Oh, okay. We know that
nice.
many of you, of course, your morning routines have been affected, and so we are here to serve you. Time for a traffic report with Thomas Finnegan. All right, Mr. Finnegan, are you there, sir?
I am here, Stephen.
Good, thank you. You're staying safe. Please update us on what people can expect in their morning commute.
Well, your commute from all directions.
What just happened there?
It was.
What just happened there, Thomas Finnegan? We're not
However,
hearing you.
once you're in the kitchen center, be on the lookout for some emergency responders
Okay.
who are cleaning up an earlier incident involving the microwave and aluminum foil.
Aluminium.
Oh, aluminium.
yeah.
I didn't know that our reporter was Canadian. Okay, great. Is there anything? By the way, we can hear you. We can hear that you're like, don't take your shirt off. Don't take your shirt off. You want to see my nipples. We
I
can
know.
hear everything you're saying.
I know.
He really is drunk. At 9:24 Central. Finnegan, anything else we need to know about?
Nothing else,
Wait,
Stephen. You're
was
all
that-
good.
Are you in the? Did I just hear a toilet flush?
I think so,
Are you in the
yeah.
bathroom?
Really?
Maybe.
Okay, Thomas Finnegan, traffic report, everybody. All right.
Yeah, I think he hit a dead spot there.
Yeah.
We lost him.
Are you
for a
splotchy?
second.
Do you know?
LWC helicopter, so.
Do you know if you're splotchy? He is
All of
totally,
that? He
his
doesn't know
reaction
yet?
time is
Yeah.
awful right
Yeah.
now.
This is 2 drinks in.
2 drinks, or did you get hit with a blow dart gun?
Yeah.
Somebody tranked him from the ceiling.
Can people, let's go, let us know what people are saying. Can you guys see this step? Get up to the camera here.
Show it off.
Actually, you know what? Here,
just take your
off your
shirt off.
headphones real quick and come over here so people can see. So this is for contrast. This is pretty red, right? That's my foot.
yeah, that's really
That's
red.
purple. But come over here. Come right here, Gibbon, so people can see the
Disgusting.
contrast. Look at this. Look at my face.
We might need a foot to face.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see your face right here.
Oh my
God.
Wow.
Hold on a second.
Wow.
That's pretty
my
close.
Lord.
Dang.
That's pretty close.
No, his face is redder.
That is way
Oh
better.
my God. This is in an ice bath.
You look like Hellboy.
He does
Yeah.
actually look a little bit like Hellboy.
Dude,
is going
Chief
on?
Sitting Bull over here.
You
Man.
know what? I think we've proven our point. Do you want to
Medics
go
are
back
red,
to
man.
doing the overlays,
Medic!
Gibbon?
Hey, Red Skull here needs some crackers.
I
get him a
should
protein
not
bar.
do overlays. That would not
We're about to be
Okay,
overtaken by
well, then,
Hydra.
do you want to go back out there and sit in the Yogi Bo and take a breather?
No. Leave him
no,
here.
I'm good.
Leave him here.
All right. Well,
Let's
he's
follow
making me
this,
He's
you
making
know,
me
yeah.
uncomfortable. I think he
We
might
need
die.
updates.
No,
Well-
you know, so this happened to me. I was telling the story. This happened to me in college. When I found out that this happened, I was at a party and I was drinking a beer. I had about half a beer, and someone comes up to me and they go, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Right.
"What the heck are you talking about? Of course I'm okay."
Yeah, have one
And it was
beer.
about the 6th or 7th person that came up to me and said, "Are you okay?" and put their hand on my shoulder that I went to the bathroom and said, "Oh my God, what the heck happened to me?"
Yeah. Something else that happens too when he gets drunk. He gets. I'm noticing you get less articulate but very chatty.
Yeah. You're very quiet most of the time.
He's very quiet. I thought he was Italian for like 9 months. I had no idea he was Asian.
Either.
Do we know what this is, the Asian rosacea? Because I remember I had a psychiatrist who told me, she's like, it's a genetic.
It's an enzyme thing, right?
It is. It's an enzyme thing. So kind of like lactose intolerance.
Okay.
Yeah.
People are missing that enzyme that helps them digest lactose. And in Asian cultures, we definitely, we usually don't drink milk or eat
Okay. So you have lactose intolerance too?
I'm actually pretty good with the lactose intolerance.
I am lactose intolerant.
You are lactose intolerant.
Yes.
How do you do with bats?
Delicious.
Is there
Look, I like bat gumbo.
bat
I like bat.
bat
stew,
stew,
bat
bat
pho.
shrimp,
Yeah.
bat
Bat
fried bat, boiled bat,
Bat fajitas.
bat pie?
Call them fajitas.
pie.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. If it wouldn't make me incredibly sick, I wouldn't mind that. Audio Wade, we haven't heard from you this morning. What do you think about? Do you think he's safe in here?
We need an update.
I hope so. It does look like his forehead's about to pop. I don't know.
Yeah, you can see
He
the
looks
veins.
like
They are
stressed
very-
Eric.
Well,
He looks like he ate a whole jar of peanut butter and now he's on the toilet just trying to let it go through.
yeah, it's
Oh
don't
my
strain.
God.
You're gonna blow an
All
O-ring
right.
or
Well,
something.
listen, if
fella.
you're not feeling well, when you get you some
am
water,
shocked.
let us know.
Well, if he does die, it'll be attributed as a COVID-19 death. So
will.
that's
It will.
right.
Yes.
The
It will
silver
be
lining.
attributed as a
Right.
COVID-19.
We're helping out
You won't
Joe
be
Biden's
forgotten.
campaign
Right.
by adding to those deaths.
Hey, and by the way, please do hit the notification bell if you are subscribed, and if you haven't joined MugClub yet at loudwithcrowder.com/MugClub. Crowder Bits is another YouTube channel.
Yes, sir.
And of course,
Love
we
it.
have the iTunes
Check
or
it
Apple
out.
Podcasts. So something else I wanted to talk about. This is making the rounds quite a bit, and the hydroxychloroquine thing. So remember, we were on this really early.
Yeah.
To the point where when we titled our YouTube video about chloroquine, I remember we kind of go through a title process. We go, okay, we want to make sure that people can search it and find it. Oh, shoot, Wade is right.
a
I did just
button?
unbutton this.
Wow.
That's
Come on.
bizarre.
You just do
Suggestive.
that like
Put it away.
automatically.
It's like a
My-
nervous tick.
Yeah,
As
that's
soon
not a
as
good
the
tick.
camera gets on him. he just-
Sexual assault is not a good nervous tick.
Not at all.
It's far more severe than a word
Yeah,
whisker.
Pee Wee Herman, button it back up, buddy.
Some people say and I just go,
right.
you like?
Your nervous tick should be legal.
There's a rule.
That's a good rule.
People are going to think I'm a bad lawyer if you keep doing this, okay?
It's like, what's wrong with him? He's nervous. Really? What's your nervous
taking
tick?
his-
I sell crack! Oh, jeez. That's more proactive than a tick. You've got spreadsheets. So the Trump chloroquine thing, we actually remember we said, well, we don't want to title it chloroquine
Right.
because
Right.
Yeah.
people don't. Oh, wait, hold on a second. We should check in with CNN a little bit. Let's see. Every continent except Antarctica impacted by COVID-19. Well, that correlation is all we need to know. Cold kills it.
I think it's time to move.
This
It
is
definitely
CNN.
time to move. Yeah.
We didn't know how to title it because we said most people don't know chloroquine. So we were like, let's see if we can title drug, whatever. And now this has become the number one cause is to attack Donald Trump. Chloroquine. This has become the cause. It's become sort of the
Cause du
linchpin
jour.
right now. It's unbelievable. And when you actually look at it, I think the big reason why, Maddie, you can bring up that overlay. I think the reason why is because he's right.
They tend not to like that.
When you
Yeah, they
have,
don't
they
like
go,
that.
oh, there's zero scientific evidence. Well, there's actually quite a bit of evidence.
Yeah.
Many hundreds of people. We've seen a variance in the rates of efficacy in these different sort of control.
Yeah.
They're not double-blind clinical trials, but they're about as good as you can get for an
Yeah.
already approved drug that can be prescribed off-label. And now over 6,000 doctors signed a petition. 6,000 doctors signed on saying this was a
didn't know
drug
that.
that they actually supported. It's being used in hospitals across the country. Don't you just love that Michigan and I think Nevada put a ban? They said, we're not going to give that to our people. And they said,
good.
oh, sorry, what I meant the opposite. Ship as much of it as you can.
Yes, please. We'll take it all.
I think what's
That's a big
interesting
never
is,
mind.
when you read these articles that are attacking the fucking, they're like, oh, I can't believe you would tout this terrible drug. You're not a Dr. Trump. You're not a Dr. News person who's reporting it. But the Trump and the news outlets that are reporting on the
Right.
effective treatment are always reporting about doctors.
Right.
They're reporting
The numbers
about
they're
doctors
getting are from Trump's briefing.
all over the country
Yeah.
who are
Yeah.
saying, hey, I'm not saying it works for everyone, and certainly there are individuals
Right.
to which it will be ineffective, but we are doing it, and the evidence that we see, the empirical evidence is it's working.
Right. And what's crazy is when I watch CNN, and I hate that I do it, but I'm doing this for you. Please do join MugClub. Otherwise, reload. And then it can't be a Walther because I can't get in trouble with my sponsor. But if I kill
would
myself
drop you
from
after
watching
that.
too much CNN, it will be a competitor's firearm.
Yes, it definitely will. But I have a question.
Try the Walther. But no, I do. Well, go ahead.
What's our standard for information right now? Because people are giving him a hard time for saying there's. Hold on, let me play this out. They're giving him a hard time for saying there's a possibility that this could be beneficial. Let's look at it. We get numbers all the time that start out at 2.5 million deaths, 240,000 deaths down to and we're like, oh no, that's good. We're fine taking that kind of variance. But Donald Trump says it might be a helpful thing to use, and he gets.
That's a good point. There's far less variance in all of the trials or studies. No, there's far less variance out there for chloroquine than there is variance in the death rates. Yeah. And what's funny is when they report on it, I'll watch CNN and they'll say, "Oh, Dr. Trump, President Trump, ignoring."
Sing it, baby. Let's go.
Gerbil's so drunk, I'm getting drunk by osmosis just around him.
I love it.
I'll give you an update.
Yeah.
My body has metabolized the alcohol. I am drunk. I am moving into the hungover phase. If
anyone
out there can get me
fast.
a Gatorade or Pedialyte,
This is not a joke. Someone
Get him some crackers,
Pedialyte,
please. Hey, look, we have young Dolph Lundgren on the screen on CNN here.
Oh, look at him.
I will break you.
I love it.
I want to see Universal Soldier 4.
doesn't?
John King will go on there, and I saw this, I think it was yesterday, saying Donald Trump ignoring the advice of medical professionals who now predict the death rate 60,000, and then they show a clip from Dr. Fauci. That's his advisor.
Yeah.
He's the one who had him out there at a press conference. You didn't get a scoop, Aaron Burnett.
Yeah.
You just didn't run the press briefing, and then you talk about it. Like the death rates that are coming out from Donald Trump and his cabinet and his advisors. You're not getting it from anywhere else. It's ridiculous. Unbelievable to me. So they've been going after hydroxychloroquine, and this happened with the Young Turks and on CNN. Now the attack is, why is Donald Trump so pro-hydroxychloroquine? Because it works. No, because he stands to make money.
That's right.
Let's go through that really quickly.
Evil man.
So they talk about, this is an article from Daily Beast, how he owns stock in a company that may be making chloroquine tablets. When you run the numbers, I want to make sure I get this right. He owns between $99 and $1,485
of that stock
in this stock.
Wow.
The man's a billionaire.
So you know what this company is too, right?
If he found that in his pocket, it would be less than you finding a 20.
It's part of a mutual fund, I think, right?
Yes.
So
do you have any idea what we're all invested in our mutual funds? We have no idea.
Here's the thing. Anyone out there who's going to criticize him for being invested in one of the largest French manufacturers of pharmaceuticals, Sanofi, every one of you who has a mutual fund, you're probably in it as well.
Right.
Yeah. So
Michael Moore's probably in it.
Oh, definitely.
But he hates himself.
Are you
for
kidding?
It.
He's there.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's unreal to me. Compare that by what we're talking about, a vested interest. So you can say, a conflict of interest. What is a president not supposed to have any sort of diversified portfolio? No mutual funds. You can just come right on in. Don't worry about it. Just come right on in. It's more distracting. It's more distracting for a creepy Colombian to loom by the door with Pedialyte.
Because you never know.
We need crackers. We need food.
He's going to try to institute social
something.
Sustenance.
Do you want some pistachios?
Cliff Bar or something? Yeah.
I can take another Cliff Bar.
Okay, all right.
So I've noticed something else. There's a delay.
Oh my God! There's an angry lesbian who I'm not. What is that on CNN?
No.
What?
Dude.
That's Daniel Radcliffe.
What is that? What in God's name is that thing?
I love how you ask him a question and it takes him 5 seconds before he answers. Now there's a delay.
But while we're talking about vested interests, oh my God, this is a madhouse. Hello, Betty.
What is going on?
Can we go to the long shot there?
Oh my gosh, Dr. Betty.
What does she have? Tape? Hold on. Someone else stuck this right now.
That is
She
gaff
got
tape.
some gaff.
Painter's
I love
tape.
it. She's
Gaff
just trying to
tape.
tape some stuff. It'll be okay. Poor little Betty.
Hey, how are we going to keep this show going if she eats that roll of gaff tape?
Yeah,
Betty's
That's
right.
true.
That is
We wouldn't be
holding
able to
the show together.
We wouldn't
How would
be able
we
to
gaff?
gaff anything.
How would we gaff?
She's wearing a dress?
She is in a dress. Poor dog.
Someone go.
How did
woman in the office? Whether it's Maddie's working here. One of the women in the office hit my wife because I can't. She put my dog in a dress.
Your dog is a lady dog.
Yeah,
it is a lady dog?
I don't care. That disgusts me. So when we're talking about vested interest in a mutual fund, $99 to $1,000, compare that to the vested interest that New York Times has.
Right.
When you look at what the money that's exchanged hands with Democratic donors, when you look at people who have actually worked in administrations that are either now reporters or have been op-ed journalists at the New York Times, Paul Krugman, you just look at any of these people at the New York Times, not to mention, remember their probability, the probability numbers that they had at the election? It was 99 point something percent that Hillary Clinton would win the election. And like we've said, just like with COVID-19, numbers matter. And obviously facts do exist. We need to be clear about that.
Right.
But you can also try and manipulate them to change public behavior. That's what happened with the election. They were hoping that people would just feel completely depressed, completely devastated, that they wouldn't have any fight in them and come out and vote for Donald Trump. So they had 99% Hillary
Probably
Clinton.
did the opposite.
Yeah.
It made you go, I got to
yeah.
get out there now.
That night we were streaming, and I remember Gerald started drinking before the show. He was like, well, Hillary Clinton's going to win tonight, so
Gonna suck.
this is going to be a rough night. And then it was the best night ever, just because we watched the Young Turks meltdown. We're like, 97, that's okay. Just wait until Michigan comes in. Why? Of course.
That was one of my best nights.
We'll send you a Walther. But it was remarkable. And they did this because they wanted people to, basically they wanted it to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what's happening right now with some of the COVID-19 deaths. So New York Times has a far worse conflict of interest. I'm just hearing the clip.
Just crackling over there. The
Something else I need attention. The company can't. This is, if you're going to talk about big pharma, okay, well, we're talking about chloroquine. This is how you know that someone actually cares, okay? Donald Trump could probably get some serious kickbacks. Right now, his hotels can't receive any bailout money.
No.
Just so you know. He signed on. That wasn't even an issue. It wasn't even argued, right? What are you saying there?
No public official.
What?
We're just letting you know what time it is.
What, you let me know what time it is?
Oh, yeah.
40 minutes?
9:40, yeah.
What?
Time is flying.
Quarter Black Garrett is making symbols. We've never used these symbols.
He's doing gang signs.
You know what I'm talking about.
I only know the Air Force signals. What are you using? The Army? We have to match up.
You're doing the opposite of what I was trying to do.
It was Coast Guard.
I have a clock.
You know what?
see
He
it.
does. He does
It's
have a clock.
10:38.
He does.
I'm assisting you.
And he's doing it like he's letting me in, like he's giving me like a hot tip at the Greyhound track.
I'll let you run next time.
He's like the third base coach over there, like signaling you.
What is happening? I've got a drunk producer. I've got what is this, a drug deal going on? I have no idea. I know what time it is. So if you were to have some conspiracy about a drug, you could have created a much better one. Donald Trump is not receiving any money to his hotel, so that's not really a conspiracy. As far as drugs, chloroquine is generic. There's no patent on it.
No.
Any
Anybody
company
can do it.
can make it. It's been around since the 1940s. It's being made by a ton of other companies. As far as I understand it, even Bayer, who make aspirin.
Yeah.
Or at least they said that they could. I don't know if they're actually going to be doing it. So many companies are. So if Donald Trump wanted to get a kickback on a drug, you know what he would do? He would pick a company that has exclusive rights. He's the president of the United States.
Right.
If you see some kind of a Republican senator from whatever it is, Omaha, can engage in insider trading, you don't think that Donald Trump can make a call to Pfizer and buy up a few mutual funds? I know, that's not how it works, but I don't really know anything about finances. My guy handles it. And then I just write it off.
Yeah. So for the death rates, they're guessing at the top number of the fraction and the bottom number of the fraction, but they're reporting all their guesses. But if you know that Trump can only make like $100 from this whole thing, you're not going to report that number.
No,
they
you're not
know
going to
that
say
number,
how
but
much he owns or anything else. But so I think there's 2 points here. One is fear sells, right? Every time you have a news story come on, it needs to be about Donald Trump, his handling of this, and how bad it is, right? The thing that we saw with the crayon or whatever it is at the bottom that said every continent.
Crayon?
Yeah,
Crayon.
Chiron.
Chiron.
Thank you. I always do it backwards.
Even the drunk Asian
Chiron.
heard Chiron. Crayon, right?
Yeah, I heard
That's not true.
That was unacceptable.
You didn't even pause for that one, jerk.
Nope.
That was unacceptable. You're a pipe.
No, so it said every continent on the planet has been affected. Yes, thank you. That means that potentially 7 countries have been infected
No,
with this
Gerald, you
and
missed
affected
it.
by this.
Antarctica and the penguins are safe.
Other than them, I know. But like what I'm saying is like they're making
Happy
it
Feet
sound
was a
as
crock of
bad
shit, man.
as possible. I'm just going to keep talking. As bad as possible, and then they won't report anything on Donald Trump when he owns something that's $1,000. Like you said, it's a rounding error to him. You're just going to say something general about it. You're trying to make it look as bad as possible for him and for the virus,
right?
And not reporting any good news at all.
No, exactly. And by the way, we've gone through the clinical data. This is important to note. We've had clinical studies where they haven't been controlled because if someone actually has severe COVID, right, they don't want to run the risk of receiving a placebo. So that's pretty hard to do.
Right.
But we have studied pretty big. We have pretty big sample sizes in multiple different instances now in people, and it does seem to consistently be working. Again, thousands of doctors have signed on saying this is actually something that we want to use. It was by far and away, there was a poll, the most effective treatment when doctors were polled. So not even people who proactively signed on to say this needs to be a part of the protocol. Then when they were asked, doctors said, yeah, hydroxychloroquine with the Z-Pak is most effective. Number 2 was chloroquine by itself. Number 3 was nothing. And then everything else was after nothing. So we want to be clear about that. that. Then they also did study it in vitro, like in a petri dish, where they think they found the sort of novel mechanism of action as to why it might work. And it may not be the antiviral capabilities. It actually may be some kind of mediation of the inflammatory response, specifically as it relates to the immune system. So I'm really nerdy. These things are all very interesting, but the point is we have examples in humans that it works, and we think we understand scientifically, at least as to why it works. Then anecdotally, this lady of color, person of color, Puck from Michigan, Karen Whitsett, she credits chloroquine and Trump with saving her life. And she really didn't want to say that, by the way. And I'm not sure if that's the lady or if I'm just confusing her with another black lady from Michigan who was in the legislature. I think that's the one who, when we were doing the I'm Just a Bill, the transgender parody, came up to the Capitol building and said, oh, y'all doing Schoolhouse Rock? Took a picture and uploaded it to Instagram and then was very cross.
Yes.
When she found out what the video was.
And then basically removed.
It may have been Karen Whitsett, probably not. I don't know. How you doing there, Gibbon?
I'm in the hungover phase. I'm drinking water.
You're actually hungover already?
Yeah, that was fast.
Already. I have a pounding headache.
have a weak
I
producer.
feel terrible, but I'm gonna stay the course.
Okay, stay the course.
Power through again.
You know, it doesn't look so.
Appreciate
It doesn't
that.
look so bad now when you're under the right light. Of course, you can't always depend on that light, but
Little splotchy.
little splotchy. Yeah,
Definitely
I
little
say a
splotchy.
little
Sorry,
splotchy.
buddy.
Yeah.
You look like you should be at a kid's party in the McDonald's playpen, Grimace. You are purple. You are more purple than
He
my
is pretty
foot.
purple.
By the way, again, we mentioned Crowder Bits, the podcast. Wait, hold on a second. Actually, I think we have to go to right now, of course, since it's a morning show. Breaking news. Yeah.
Ooh.
For breaking news on Louder with Crowder, I'm Perry Matheson. Based on previous projections that have been subject to change and now can be verified, the CDC has officially, and this can be held legally accountable, changed their COVID estimate of deaths to 4. We'll keep you abreast as this story unfolds. For breaking news on Louder with Crowder, I'm Perry Matheson.
I had
that was
AM
nice.
radio flashbacks there of like driving in my dad's car and then
Yeah.
some grainy AM talk show person breaking
Perry's
the
been around
news.
for a while.
He's been
He
around
has
for a long
been doing
time.
it at a high
Amazing.
level for a while.
Got us
too.
into a lot of hot water. Did I ever tell you about that when we were out of Detroit and we were broadcasting? And what happened is when this show started, for those, by the way, I don't know if we can. Is chat not working today? Is it work? Let's forget it. Are we
Yeah.
doing chat? Let's see if we can bring up some chat.
Yeah,
And by
let's
the way,
try-
I
let's
know
try and bring
chat
some.
is an issue right now.
Yeah.
You give us your name because the usernames aren't working. I don't know why.
It's a little
Yeah.
buggy.
I'm pissed about it.
So earlier you asked about people who had the COVID-19, if they knew
Yes.
anybody. This person, Andrew, says, my dad and I contracted it and fully recovered. We lost our sense of smell and had a bad cough.
Ooh,
Yeah.
devastating.
Sorry,
That-
Andrew.
losing your sense of
actually,
smell.
That might be a little too much Zicam. The nasal Zicam. Just
Yeah.
so you know, do not use that.
Yeah.
I've known people who have lost their sense of smell.
Really? Why shouldn't we use
like
it
permanently?
Permanently.
Wow.
Permanently. Yeah.
Tell us more, Vampire
You
Gibbon.
can take Zicam as a pill. Do not inhale that.
Really?
Yeah.
But the nasal swab is not inhale. You rub it around your nasal cavity. Or you're talking about the spray?
Spray.
Yeah, the spray. The
Okay.
spray.
Did you use it? Can you still take?
I can still smell everything.
Okay.
You know what's funny?
Just so you know, like this is happening in real time, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's slow motion. Like,
Guys, are we still on?
He used it in his eyes.
I just wanted to prove that I am more Asian than Bill. Maybe the 23.
You are absolutely more Asian than Bill.
Right, yeah.
Hey,
At least in
Genetically.
this-
Genetically.
I'll take my pants off right now and prove my innocence if I have to.
Ah, no.
Big words from a man who didn't even want to wear a robe. I was like, come on, we're all wearing pajamas. He's like, I
Hey,
don't want to wear a robe.
I
That's a nice robe.
I still have my suit jacket on.
true. I know, right?
Okay, so.
Because this is how he sleeps,
Real
in his
pajamas.
suit with
he
a robe.
has to keep up appearances, love, as he sits next to a drunken Asian who's about to throw up all over the studio.
No. Actually,
My
I can report right
quarter-Asian
now.
brother.
The
Is excellent.
Yes, the hungover phase has passed. I am going back to the sober phase,
So
which is
fast.
why I'm now drinking beer again.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
Puke and rally, baby. Puke and rally.
That's a wonderful plan of action. I literally poisoned my body, but I feel as though I've cleared just enough of it that I'm at the cusp of recovery. Let me drink more drain
Yes,
cleaner.
yes,
Go for
exactly.
round two.
It's a
You
good
know what's
idea.
terrible about Gibbon is like terrible for him is I've done this.
I was like, he's drunk. He can't defend himself.
Come on, man.
Is I've done this bet thing before, right?
Oh, really?
Gullible rooms
really?
of white guys where I'm like, well, I can't drink that much because I'll get all red in the face. Like, then I've had too much to drink. And then, like 11 shots later, they're on the floor, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to take that money. Thanks.
Nice.
Wait, how did you get the money? Did you
By the
bet
way,
them?
that was
of course.
Can you do that again? I'll take that money.
Yeah.
Thanks. Can you do that again? Oh, see, now he butched it up. When he first did it, it was super
Very
dainty.
dainty.
I'll take that money.
It's like Paul Chinaman.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Well, hey, I did not sound like Gerald when I did that.
No, he sounded like Richard Simmons, who's
Yeah.
been
Wait a
kidnapped by his Brazilian housekeeper.
Oh, that's sad. We do have one more chat
oh, yeah.
here. We
Chat?
have another chat anyway. We have somebody who says, nope, safe in Italy. Don't know anyone with the China virus. It's Susan in Italy.
I think that person's trying a little too hard with reiterating Italy.
Italy.
And obviously
Yeah.
because Italy is like the war zone, I think
is.
that
Well,
might not be honest, Susan.
It should help, actually. It's written in an accent. Pretty heavy.
Oh, good.
Oh,
That's very
wow.
good. I don't know how you read that.
Italy,
And I don't know many Dagos named Susan.
Right. Maybe she's on vacation. So I do have a story. There was one of my clients who did, their group contracted it. They were in Australia. It actually made the news.
Your
that
setup has
group-
become tiresome. He's drunk.
I have no excuse. Yeah.
I was losing interest.
Yeah, thank you. If I can't keep a drunk man's interest, I have nothing to offer. No, anyway, but good
Tell
news
us
is
about your Aussie drunk
Aussie.
friends.
So they went down there to do wine
You said that
tasting in a
part.
group of 10 people. They got it. They were quarantined, and they actually received death threats from Australian people that thought that they had brought this virus
Well, that
to
doesn't
their
surprise
area.
me. It's an
right?
island of nothing but felons and rapists.
Well, pretty much.
that's
That's their heritage.
That's what it
At
is.
least it's ma and pa.
It's Alcatraz
I
with
know.
tarantulas.
It was a British colony for.
Yeah.
It was their penal colony.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they finally did, make it back to the United States last night. So I do know one person at least that had it.
Oh, how bad was it?
Not bad.
No.
Not bad at all. No.
And I'm not saying that there aren't
Riveting.
cases
Yeah.
where it's bad, but
Riveting.
I'm asking because everyone that I've known who's had it it's been a cough. It's been a cough and a headache.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's pleasant, but everyone that now then again, most people who I know who've had it are younger and are healthy. Younger meaning under the age of 50. And then right now, my mother, who is our wardrobe stylist, she has pneumonia, pretty severe. So she's nowhere near here.
Right.
And that is significantly worse than any of the coronavirus cases that we've seen.
Yes.
And we've seen, at least suspected, quite a few. In this instance, if we suspect it, we write it as definitely COVID-19.
Right.
Because we're following
We
the
have
CDC's
to.
lead on that. All right. You know what? Maybe I should tell my Taco Bell story last.
Oh.
Oh, last? We gotta wait. Yeah.
You're like, please,
I was
now.
excited.
Oh, I was teasing it.
dang. Taco Bell,
I think I want to
anyone?
end this on a positive
I
note.
jumped in too early.
But
right.
before we get to that, and actually you'll be able to shine on Monday. We're doing another Mass Monday on Monday. And that's where I will say Audio Wade and Gerald really know their theology. I will say this.
You saying I don't shine any other time?
Not on
No,
the,
I'm saying
not
that's
on the
where
comedy days.
Not on the comedy days.
So that's every other day. This is a comedy show.
Let's be honest. Scrapyard, it's not your strong suit.
It's not. You're right.
No, but that's where people don't realize that's when you first came on the show.
That's true.
Before you were on the show, I would ask you questions about the Bible, theology, and sort of Islam.
Yeah.
Because I know that you taught some of these courses at churches, and I said, you know what, you've got a good voice. You've got a great voice for radio. You're articulate. Why don't you come on the show? And
Nobody
then,
has stepped on jokes better than me since.
well, there were no jokes and just complaints from the government of Pakistan
wow.
on Twitter.
well, that's good.
Pakistan. I've said this before. Not a person in Pakistan. Violation of Pakistan.
It's got to make you
On
feel
Twitter.
good, though, right?
It makes me feel good.
An entire country
I'm not a
hates
big
you.
fan of Pakistanis, which remember how much trouble George W. Bush got in because he used the word Paki?
Yeah.
That didn't used to be a racist term. It was an abbreviation.
Right.
And now, say Pakistani. What am I, retired? I don't have time to say...
I got things to do.
I'm not drunk sitting over in fourth chair.
Well, we were, and I want to go back to the Mass Monday, but we were talking about that, like Chinaman.
Yeah.
You were saying that that's never once been offensive to you. Now, again, if someone says it like, F you, Chinaman,
Yeah, but I'm not a bitch. I don't know.
So-
I mean, look.
it wasn't intended to be
yeah,
racist,
exactly.
whereas the N-word was.
Look,
That's the difference.
I think people who focus so much on the words and they miss the intent are the problem, because
Yes,
really
yes.
it doesn't take using a slur or a semi-slur or maybe potentially hypothetically a slur or something like that. It's all about the intent and what people are doing. And you can't listen to comedy and not feel a little offended. Like literally, that is the
Right.
essence of comedy itself.
Yeah.
And so knowing that someone is doing it with an intent to actually bring people closer together, and the part that I think is the most hilarious about it is most slurs that are used are actually some basis of the words that are used between the people within that race anyways. And so just, hey,
What do Chinese people call other Chinese people?
I I can't say it on air.
Oh, you can't?
So I remember when I was
so chatty when he drinks. This is the most I've ever heard you speak. I will ask you a question. You know this. We will have a meeting because Gibbon has now become the showrunner here. He's been doing a great job, by the way. He's doing a fantastic job. He's absolutely wonderful. Make sure the trains run on time. But I will ask him a question like, hey, what happened here? And what do you think? He'll go, That's it. And then he comes back with a reasoned response. Whereas now, so don't Steven, drink before any meetings.
Oh, I was going to say I should start drinking before meetings.
Yeah. Well, you would think that right now.
No,
That's unwise.
I feel so happy.
What I was going to say, when I was a bitch, living in Los Angeles, I remember I had heard my grandmother say,
"Did he look like a bitch?"
I remember I had heard my grandmother say Chinaman, and I remember thinking like, "Whoa, grandma, that's kind of crazy." And she was like, "Irishman, Englishman, Chinaman, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
you're saying the same thing.
No one's mad at Martin Scorsese,
right? Yeah. Well, some people are, but that's mainly because again, I don't have the time.
4 hours.
Oh my God, the director's cut.
Unreasonable.
Please, does it come with a cyanide pill? And Al Pacino's book of extensive accents, by the way, it's 1 page. It's really just a booklet, like a do not rape pamphlet handed out in Germany on New Year's.
It's a trifold. So.
It is remarkable. Yeah, Chinaman is a good example. Like when we were doing the kung fu fighting, we had to censor it. Now the guy, what's his name? Fred Douglas. Fred Douglas?
I don't remember.
Something Douglas.
Yeah.
Something Douglas.
Carl Douglas.
Carl Douglas.
Some name.
We love you,
Now,
Carl.
you have to look at that intent. So not only do you have the lyrics of the entire song, so let's take this as an examination, right, of context. And I was talking about George Bush saying Packy. Again, the context of what he said, you have, for example, the trade with Packies, they're not happy with. He wasn't at all denigrating them. He was actually, people have accused him of being too pro-Pakistan. So in other words, and by the way, I was in Montreal, that was what was used all the time. Again, it wasn't intended to be racist. Now that abbreviation is more racist than the lesser abbreviation. But Chinaman, let's take that from Kung Fu Fighting because someone was arrested in the UK for singing Kung Fu Fighting. We've talked about this at a karaoke bar. Yeah, you can go back to a video. We did a whole thing. Maybe Maddie can bring the source up if she wants to. Kung Fu Fighting arrested. Now let's see. It's like, okay, is this a situation with the absence of context? No, it's a black guy in a Kung Fu uniform who is doing a song that is literally praising Chinese culture. The entire thing. Talking about how much he loves Kung Fu Fighting. Okay, so we look at that. Doesn't seem like he hates anybody who's Chinese. There it is. Man arrested for singing Kung Fu Fighting.
NBC.
If we didn't bring it up, you would think I'm lying. The only reason I bring up overlays is because I don't want you to think that I'm lying like CNN. He goes, okay, there were funky China men from funky Chinatown. Was it they were chopping around me up? They were chopping around me down? It's an ancient Chinese art, and everybody knew their part. Was it from a something to a kick? Now we're into a brand new trick. Everybody was Kung Fu.
It's
Hold
poetry.
on. Did I hear racism? It's a love letter to the Chinese culture, which, by the way, entirely false. The Kung Fu Fighting doesn't work, but he really liked it. He was a fan of it. It's just amazing to me. You have to look at that and go, is this? Did he mean this as a racist term? And it wasn't really considered a racist term at that point. Now, if he walked up and was like, "What's your problem, little drunk Chinaman?" I'd be like, "Hey, Mr. Douglas."
Right.
That's a bridge too far.
He's Okinawan. I mean,
well, that's why I used it.
You pointed at me. Yeah,
I did just because you're drunk, and I figured I could say it without getting in trouble. Whereas if I said it to Bill, he could use it against me someday.
Yes. Will use it against you someday. Yes,
I love Bill, but lawyer gonna lawyer.
Lawyers. I mean, and you've offended him because Okinawan's actually Japanese, not Chinese, and there's a thing.
Gerald, we understand that part, man.
You didn't sound offended, though, Bill.
Can you bring up a map? And Gerald, do you have a pointer?
I do. Here, let me. If you look here,
what was it that happened to change my mind? Where someone was racist to you?
Yeah, there was a kid. He was an Asian kid, and he was talking about how all white people are terrible and we should all get cancer. And I said to him, I was like, actually, I'm Japanese. And he said, "Oh, well, you should have been there when we bombed you."
Man,
jeez, like what do you say?
Wow,
to that?
I don't know.
That's harsh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'm offended, but no, I'm not. But I do think but it wasn't very nice.
It was not. Not nice to say.
Well, keep eating your
very
crackers.
Impractical.
So here's something else. So we did Mass Monday, and I say this is audio Wade and Gerald's strong suit when we do the Mass Mondays. Now, I'm one of those guys. I've read the Bible through like cover to cover 3 times. I did a 1-year Bible. But it doesn't mean that I retained all of it. And then it was, what was that CD series that you had me? It was about the Bible in
Learn the Bible in 24 hours.
Yeah, that was actually more useful than reading through the whole Bible.
Oh, yeah.
And I realized it was kind of one of those, it wasn't a religious thing. I just wanted to have read the whole Bible. But then, unfortunately, I forgot Look, Jacob's Ladder, I can tell you more about the horror film than the story in the Bible. I don't know why. Why is Jacob's Ladder so important culturally?
It's a fever
like
dream.
Yeah, people like Jacob's Ladder is a colloquialism. It's like people who don't know anything about. What about Esther? I don't know. Jacob's Ladder's a thing. I saw at CrossFit they have this thing called Jacob's Ladder. It's really hard. I get rubbed in my house. Like for some reason, it's given undue importance.
It really is. Yes.
So you guys know this pretty well, and we did this on last Monday. We did Mass Monday. On Rhett and Link, they're what they call spiritual deconstruction. They left the faith. And I don't want to use that term. They basically abandoned their faith as Christians. And here's one thing that I want to keep in context here. I do things that I regret all the time. People who say, no regrets, what? Like, I don't relate to that person at all. Like, when I watch a film and there's a guy on his deathbed and he's like, I can say I regretted nothing. I'm like, what an asshole, right?
Yeah.
There's
Liar.
no way that's true.
Not very
self-aware. Of course I have regrets.
Yes.
I have regrets for yesterday. Audio Wade, you were there,
Yeah.
and I made a joke because I was drinking milk straight from the carton because I'm the only one who drinks goat's milk at the house.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this is 4 days expired.
I think it was 7.
7.
Yeah.
I regret that. I regret that.
Certainly.
On behalf of yourself and your asshole.
Yes, yes.
I mean, for sure. Yeah.
I'm
Parts of
pretty
your body
sure
are
that
angry.
Gibbon's going to have some regrets.
He will.
I mean, for crying out loud, he looks like a bruised peach.
I feel terrible.
You're back to hungover already?
Well, drink water. I didn't say
Yeah,
I
get
wanted to
some
see
liquid.
how fast it would take. It took 40 seconds. You don't have to keep drinking.
No.
You've proven the point.
Move on, sir.
We don't need a geneticist to come in here.
Every time the camera goes away, I whisper to him, keep drinking.
Bill is the bad angel on
So
his
I
shoulder.
want to be clear. I've done some things that I'm not proud of in my life. I've gotten things wrong. I, of course, have regrets. But when it came to addressing the Rhett and Link podcast, where they effectively are trying to drive thousands of young people away from Christ, that's really what they're doing. And as a Christian, I don't think that's a good thing. Yeah. We took as much care as we possibly. It's about as nice of a show as we've done.
It was really,
Yeah.
really tame.
It really was. And this was the response from Rhett and Link.
This is the Change My Mind meme, and that's Steven Crowder, or as I like to call him, Steven Piece of Shit Crowder. He's a podcaster at TCU who sat outside with a sign that said, "Male privilege is a myth. Change my mind." And the meme is used to convey strong, hot takes on topics that are actually important or completely unimportant.
Okay.
Let's see a few examples.
Okay.
Wow.
So you don't need to believe it. Stephen Piece of Shit Crowder. Far be it for me to argue, by the way.
Right.
Be that as it may. Like I want to be clear. My primary issue here is not with being called a piece of shit.
Yes.
I am a little bit upset because I think that's a wonderful insult.
It is nice.
And now I can't use it because this angry lesbian producer used it. And I don't say it's an insult. She's an angry lesbian
I still
producer.
use it in
She is
emails
very
to you.
angry.
It's true, you do. There's something about it that I just love.
It's excellent.
It's excellent because it's like you're not even giving them the credit of being the entire evacuation.
No,
Right.
You're in my phone as Steven Piece of Shit.
Really?
Too. Yeah, it's a long
You're
name,
the
but it's worth
worst
it.
part of the piece of crap.
You're the curly
Right.
Q.
Yeah.
And by the way, out of everything I've said on this podcast,
Disgusting.
show them laughing there, Court Blacker. By the way, out of everything that I've said on this podcast, this is what?
No, but it's so real, man. Like literally everyone.
Bill's starting to get a little red.
I am getting a little red. I did not eat breakfast.
laughter.
But I actually like that is one of the
is
things
a great
I'm
idea.
sure
Can someone get a bat in here?
everyone at home right now is like, I never called it a curly Q, but I know exactly
I know
what
what
he's
you
talking
mean.
All
about.
right, then I will tell you this story because it's absolutely true.
boy.
When I was a kid, I don't remember many things from before 3 years old, but I was 2 years old.
not
I
a lot of
remember
people
this. I was just telling Gibbon, I drank I should have permanent liver damage because I drank an entire bottle of Tylenol twice. I did.
Why?
Yeah, I got my stomach because I was an idiot. I was a kid. I was 2. My mom was here. We had cold, so she was giving us like the children's Tylenol.
Right.
And so she's like, "Okay, we're going to give you
liquid?
each a spoonful." Yeah, the liquid. And she goes, "Okay, Jordan, here's yours." And she turns back, and I went, "Finished it." She's like, "Oh my god!" And then when they pumped my stomach, my brother, being the little pissant that he was, they put they put stickers on, like when I don't know what that is. It's not how they pump you, but they have the stickers, like an ET when he's in the fridge and goes, "Ouch!" So they had stickers on me.
Right.
One of them had a smiley face. My brother tried to steal it for his scrapbook. He pulled the sticker off of me.
That is great.
So anyway, I did a lot of things like that when I was a kid, but I do remember, I used to take when I was 2, and I would have been 2, and my brother might have been 4. We would take baths together, and so my mom takes my brother out of the bath. She's toweling him off. I'm like, "Mom, I gotta go to the bathroom." Sorry, I don't know if I should not tell this. I think it's okay. And
I think we know where it's going.
No, you don't know where this is going.
The statute of limitations on child abuse is over.
You don't know where this is going, and so she's telling off my brother, and I remember going like kind of doing this like I've got it, and she's like just wait, and
the pee-pee dance.
Yes, and so I did. I pooted, and it had the curly cue.
Nice.
And it was very sharp. Ooh, and I don't know if you know this, but when you've pulled the plug, there's a current.
Yes.
And so whatever's in the bathtub starts going around. So I'm standing there while she's toweling off my brother, and I can see the pointy poop coming around, and I'm picturing like I remember it looked like a scorpion's tail. And I started getting close. I'm like, Mom. I just ran out, jumped out, butt naked, because I thought I was going to get stabbed by my own excrement curly cue.
It's scary.
I remember that clear as day.
Terrifying.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, you now see what has caused Stephen to be who he is today.
Yes.
And it's scorpion shit.
Everything that I've said to you today, that's what you will remember.
Afraid of his own poop.
I was afraid
you
of
should be.
my...
Well, and that was the most frustrating point with this. Going back to the story, it's like we did really bend
That I was
over.
afraid of my poop?
No.
This disappoints you?
No, none of this
That was
disappoints
a
me.
hard
but
segue.
I did.
Hard.
Thank you, Stephen, for that story. And now,
use that term.
no, but we've been over backwards to be kind. And if you listen to our entire, kind of discussion, you understood that one, we were first and foremost concerned for them. Like, hey, man, we're really sorry that
we
you
said
ended up
that we
in
love
this
them,
place.
invited them on the show,
absolutely.
said you're more than welcome to come on the show. We would love to speak with Rhett and Link.
Yeah, exactly. And I read some comments that said, Stephen must have been triggered because he sounded, all, and then, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, triggered? What are you talking about? One, we don't do that anyway.
Right.
But two,
I'm triggered by Good Mythical Morning.
Yes, exactly.
Where the okay.
Anyway,
again, I am actually curbing any instinct that I have right now to be as extra loving as possible.
Yeah.
Did you see that clip?
It was pretty bad.
Ad hominem is like it's not nothing personal. It's what I do.
I was pissed off that they actually whited out the sign. I mean, which changed my mind was it?
I don't know.
I need to know.
No, but the point is,
they said it, Cheryl. They said it.
So
they said that one of them that he did.
You don't want to know what gummy worm is best?
Right, So a couple of things here that I think are really important, and then we do have to get going, and we do have to hook Gibbon up to an IV drip.
Yeah, he needs some help.
Medical attention is coming. Don't worry.
Right. Is that first off, they're really concerned about being brand safe.
Yes.
I'm not sure if calling someone a piece of shit is brand safe, but maybe on YouTube it's brand safe as long as you do it with the right people. Because we've been specifically told nothing that involves piece of shit will ever be monetized or advertiser friendly. Can I say that? That's been very clear.
Yes.
It's been very clear.
Keep drinking.
In no uncertain terms. Like, when you say like Don Lemon or even The Who, what a piece of shit. Like that's not gonna be advertiser friendly. But apparently it's brand friendly as long as you're eating pancakes with a faux hawk.
Right on the trending page.
Right.
Yes.
So call me a piece of that's absolutely fine. I don't have any problem with that. I want to be crystal clear. But the brand safe thing, that's what we're going to talk about on Mass Monday. That's not a value, that's not a principle, that's not a virtue. And it's the same argument that they use to make the case that all churches will be allowing gay marriage because otherwise they'll die. No.
Right.
Just appealing to popularity. That's one of the intellectual fallacies that you learn about in Logic 101. And something else that's very interesting. Maybe they think it's more, maybe they don't want to be unbrand safe. So I commented on the video.
Right.
And here's the thing. I want to be clear. I'm not a guy who does the YouTube drama thing. We avoid it. Like my rule is this: try to only punch up, and then if we call someone out, we offer them some kind of recourse. In other words, we're not going to just debate or have anyone on the show who says, "Why don't you have a?" Because you're an egg. Yeah. It's because you're an egg on Twitter. I have no interest. Or, you get a fraction. Like, we can't do it with everyone. But if I call out, for example, if Samantha Bee says, hey, I'm tired of it, we will have her on tomorrow. Yeah. Seth Meyers tomorrow. Anyone from the Young Turks tomorrow. Vox tomorrow. That's the rule. So my name came out of your mouth there at Rhett and Link, Good Mythical Morning. That's the only reason that I responded. And so I responded to Stephen Piece of Shit Crowder underneath the video. I want to make sure that I'm quoting directly, but I can't because they hid the comments, which I'll get to. It was ha 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 ha.
Okay, that's about right. Yeah.
Aha.
I think
that was a comment. Yeah. That was a comment.
Horrendous.
And then after that, so we can bring this up right here. I think we have a screen recording. We don't need the audio. You can just use it as B-roll. Then I realized that none of the comments were showing up. Now, here's the thing that's kind of, and we use ExpressVPN, by the way. Go to expressvpn.com/Crowder. You get a discount. They're wonderful. We did the same thing with the Tulsi Gabbard situation. If you go and use an ExpressVPN and go sort of in incognito mode, the comments don't show up. So when you leave a comment on someone's channel and they hide it, you don't see it from your profile. Yours will always show up. So you'll go, oh, I guess it's still there. Then when we use ExpressVPN, look, now it's gone. And even responding to people saying, hey, you know what, this is kind of weird that you do this with Stephen. Like, he actually seems pretty respectful. And I said, hey, just so you know, I actually grew up with Rhett and Link on YouTube. I'm a fan. I would love to have them on the show. Just because we disagree on the premises of theology, philosophy, does not mean that we can't respectfully disagree and have civil dialogue.
Right.
Those comments were hidden. So to me, that's and I don't think this is an ad hominem. That's hit and run cowardice. When you have a bigger 16 million subscribers, obviously a bigger channel. When we rebut points and we use biblical verses and we rebut it theologically and say, well, we think that this is actually incorrect, and we would love to talk about this if they want to. Otherwise, we're going to continue doing Mass Mondays, which we do behind the paywall, doing MugClub every single week. This isn't something new that was exclusive to Rhett and Link. They shouldn't feel that special. And then they respond with, haha, what a piece of shit, on a channel with 4 times the subscribers, and then hide comments that are civil and respectful. That means that is cowardly. And not only that, that also tells you that there's no interest in a dialogue. When they said, when Rhett and Link said, we really hope that us coming out and talking about our deconstruction encourages discourse or dialogue. Well, hold on a second. What kind of discourse or dialogue? Do you mean a group of Christian people saying that they love you and they wish the best for you and that they disagree with you and hope that maybe you might look into some of these arguments and do some research and see why there's validity to it, and then say, we respectfully invite you onto the show, we would love to talk about it as brothers in the Lord in the spirit of love? Then you call them a piece of shit and they say, ha ha ha, that's kind of funny. I would still gladly and respectfully host you on the show. Hide, delete. What kind of discourse were you looking for? You have no interest in discourse. You only have interest in pats on the back because you're cowards. It is cowardly to do that. You will never hear me on this show call someone out. Like Sanjay Gupta. Guy looks weird, don't like him, not even sure he's a doctor. John King looks like a bobblehead with a neck that's broken. Okay? If they want to come on the show, he'd just be in the dashboard and you'd be going whack, whack, and he falls. That's it.
You don't bobble.
Yeah. If he wanted to come on the show, I would have to be held account. The Book of Judgment. Did you in fact say that? I did say that. Yeah, that sounds accurate. Because I'm a piece of shit. You heard Rhett and Link. To do that is a parting shot. And my point is there's no interest in dialogue. When people say this, it's like, what would you have to do? What would you have to do beyond that to actually engage in a conversation of ideas? There's nothing I can think of.
They don't want to say anything. I mean, that's the long and short of it is that it doesn't help their narrative to just say, hey, everyone who's following us, don't go listen to this. This guy's terrible. He has no opinions, because they can't actually address the opinions themselves. They can't address the points and the arguments and the verses in the scripture that were brought up during that rebuttal. And if their position was so strong, they would have been ready to be able to do it. But they weren't ready for those types of arguments that attack their position. And so the only thing they have is what a piece of shit.
Well, and even if they didn't see the Mass Monday, even if they were just responding to you as some kind of as the cultural figure, then the only argument that she made, if it was an argument, was he sat outside of TCU with a sign that said male privilege is a myth. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly. So is that the argument that you're a piece of shit? I don't think so. I don't think
I don't know if they brought that up, or the rape culture is a myth. But that
I don't remember.
By the way, do you know how I know rape culture is a myth? Because I'm informed by a Christian worldview and also the history of Western civilization, which was founded on Christian principles, unlike Islamic societies or Buddhist societies or Taoists. Take your pick. I've learned about Taoism in college. I don't know anything about it. What is Taoism? It seems like a made up. It's made up. Is it made up? You're drunk. You don't need to answer. We'll assume it's made up.
It's a religion of tea, I guess. So, and we would give them an opportunity. Hey, guys, if you disagree with what your producer said, you have every opportunity to correct the record. You have every opportunity to say, hey, we don't really think Stephen Crowder's a piece of shit. She said that, and she shouldn't have. Floor is yours, guys.
Angry lesbian producer gonna angry lesbian producer.
Right. And we would understand that. Be like, yeah, sure, that's fine.
I understand it. I wouldn't even expect you to come to my defense.
No.
I wouldn't come to my defense. That's not my issue. No, that's not my issue. You can call me whatever you want. My issue is throwing out parting shots. And I want to be very clear. This is not ad hominem. This isn't making fun of just an appearance. This is a shot over the bow at your character. That's cowardly. It is cowardly to do that and then not allow any recourse. Okay, these are just the ABCs of me. We don't do that on this show. And I get it. You don't have to debate any single person who asks you to. You have 16 million subscribers. We don't do that. But if my name left your lips, it's cowardly to do a parting shot and then delete any record of someone responding. Especially, and I think, by the way, especially when it's respectful. If we weren't respectful, if we were responding in kind, they probably would have left it up and said, see, I think the fact that we were saying, hey, I don't harbor any ill will, I can't even show you the comments because they've disappeared, but I would love to respectfully host them on the show. That actually makes them more inclined. I think that Rhett and Link, we're going to do this on Monday, another Mass Monday, and I want to be clear, Rhett and Link, I when I came up in YouTube, like I've been doing YouTube since 2007, they started early on, first movers. I respect them with that. But I do think that Rhett and Link are going to be surprised as to how much they come out of this the bad guy. Because I know I'm like the supervillain, the Vox apocalypse, where YouTube had to change policy and I say naughty words and Rhett and Link are brand safe. But I think people can smell it on you when they sense cowardice, when they sense bullying. And by the way, a 16 million channel responding viciously to a respectful rebuttal, that's bullying. You guys are bullies. I don't know how that works into your deconstruction because you thought the Christians weren't empathetic, but you're bullies. You're cowardly bullies. And I would love to hash this. We don't have to, but I'm just letting them know. We're going to talk about it Monday and be very respectful.
Well, I was going to say that we're not the only ones that think this, though, because in the comments, if you go through, there's
a lot of those are hidden as well, though, too, now.
Really, there's a lot of people in there that I saw right whenever they uploaded it that were like, hey, I watch Steven Crowder. I watch you guys. I like both of you. Why are you being mean? He has a lot of good points. So it's not just us saying it. It's their fans watching and saying it too.
Right. It seems kind of weird. So
that doesn't seem weird. It doesn't. No. I'm not surprised at all.
It seems weird to people that are fans of theirs and ours.
You know what? I will say this
to do that.
Yeah, and I will say this because they talk about it in their Mass Monday thing. I know some people think, oh, big surprise that you went to L.A. and now you're no longer a Christian. They try and cut it off at the pass. That's exactly what's happened. And I say this as someone who has lived in California, as someone who has a lot of friends in California. I've seen it happen. And by the way, you do have to be honest. Like you chose, Audio Wade and I were talking about this. You did choose to go to Los Angeles and be a part of the entertainment industry. You wanted to. So it's like someone saying, like, well, listen, I don't wear, do you think that I'm just wearing this crest because it went to this country club? Like, well, you wanted to join it. You chose to join that country club. That's why you're wearing the crest. You chose to become a part of that industry in that state, and now you're putting on their team jersey. So, you may say you always wanted to do that, but that's why you went to Los Angeles. That is important. People, you need to understand. Yes. And when you see someone who says, I know people will say this and they try to cut it off of the past, but they don't have a valid argument, that's how you understand the importance, the value of your surrounding. You need to have positive association. You need to surround yourself with people, not only when we're talking about spiritual issues, but people who will help you elevate your game in all facets, be it physically, be it mentally, spiritually, emotionally. You don't want to hang around people who turn you into something you're not or just drag you down. Okay, I do want to end this on a positive note. Are you feeling better? Are you coming through?
Yeah, no, I'm feeling pretty good. Stephen, I just wanted to say that I'm a realist. This is the first and probably the last time that I'm going to be on the show. But
you're actually surprisingly good with the with a couple of drops of a couple of pints of bourbon.
No, but I mean, I had a great time. This is a dream come true as someone who was a fan before working on the show.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah, really.
Aim your sights higher.
I just want to.
Maybe one day you'll get on Red and Link.
There we go. One day. Yeah, you piece of shit.
I really do want to issue a heartfelt apology to my father, Dad. I'm sorry.
Why? Oh no!
You bring a great shame. What I teach you? Stick to Michelob Ultra or less. No bourbon. Our people know bourbon.
I wanted to, in all of this chaos that's been going on, a lot of people don't realize today is Good Friday. Right, and Easter Sunday is coming up, so I just wanted to wish all of the people out there a happy Easter weekend. I know this is
and it likely will be the peak.
Day.
By the way, they're saying Easter will be the actual peak of COVID-19.
So very happy to be doing a Mass Monday the day after Easter. So
I really appreciate it.
He is risen.
He is risen. I know I say some things kind of naughty sometimes, tee-hee, but I'm a Christian. Let me leave you with something that again, please do hit the notification bell because subscriptions don't mean a whole lot. Hit all notifications so you get notified. We have shows, of course, every night now. It goes up at, is it 8 p.m.? It's 8 p.m. Eastern, always. Live stream videos, 8 p.m. Eastern, every weeknight. And then, of course, this whole month, MugClub Quarantine, we're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the morning show, which I hope you enjoy. I actually really enjoy being able to do this. It's a little more relaxed, and we're able to explore it a little bit more. Promo code is Quarantine, $30 off. Please do consider joining up if you feel any sense of community. And you know what? We're actually going to have a program where you can buy someone else a MugClub membership.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So I wanted to tell you a story that I can't bring Johnny Boy and my Canadian friend. But after we did the Jean-Guy video game stream, first off, let me preface this. This is why I don't argue when someone calls me a piece of S word. Because I do things like this. I went to Taco Bell.
Understandable.
No, it's not. Don't absolve me of this.
No, I'm not. I'm saying you make bad decisions late at night when you're hungry.
Place me in a burlap robe. It should be the Da Vinci Code, just nonstop.
Yes, exactly.
As a matter of fact, I immediately regretted my decision. So when I got home, I started spraying down the bag, and then I said, these people aren't going to follow the sanitary. So I just threw it in the garbage. Yeah. I got a steak crunch wrap supreme and a chalupa, and I said, this is no. There's an acceptable risk. This is not it.
Come on.
There was a lady who brightened my night, and I want to say thank you so much to this lady. And I need to explain why this was so funny. So you guys all know Johnny Boy. Yeah. Have you ever seen him when he laughs? He gets almost not quite as red as you, but he gets really red. He gets beet red when he laughs. And I will say this: we've talked about this. There is nothing, and I knew this going in. There's nothing that Johnny Boy, he's an ultra white Canadian, Acadian bloodline, that he finds funnier than sassy black women. Really? Now, some people say this is racist. I don't care. It's he just finds it so funny, and like we've talked about, endearing.
Yeah.
And so we're driving through Taco Bell, and this is a sassy black lady, and I don't know how old. Like she could have been from 30 to 60. I have no idea. Yeah. It's very hard to guess.
Very poor age judger there.
So I order a steak. What is it where it's not a crunch wrap, but it's like wrapped, but it has like crunchy things in it, but it's not. Anyway, it's all the same thing.
Cheesy gordita crunch.
Maybe it was that. I have no idea.
Give it.
I love how even when he's drunk, that for some reason is prioritized.
Right to the front of the brain.
She's a gordita crunch. You have a sad life.
Being able to walk and talk normally? No. Gordita, yes.
And his girlfriend is really something else. Don't know how he does it. So let's assume that's what it is. We go cheesy gordita crunch. I'll just say steak crunch wrap supreme because I'm not going to remember all the Taco Bell terms. So we then drive up to the window, and this is why it's so funny because from my vantage point, right? So you're me. I'm Johnny. Okay, I see his face, and then we drive up, and the window right behind him. And as he drives up, it is a very large black woman with long braids, dyed red, and severe makeup and surgical gloves. And I see us drive up, and right away I can just see John kind of a little bit of this, just because you can see her. She's
no.
But she. And by the way, this is nothing but good things. We were sitting there, it brightened our night. It's been a tough week, and I tell you what. So John's right here, and she comes out. She goes, "Okay, you got a chicken chalupa and a steak, whatever, and a steak crunch, and a chicken crunch wrap supreme." And John's already kind of laughing. He goes, "No, that was steak." And then she goes, "It was steak. Where you eating chicken tonight?" I'm just kidding. It's steak, y'all. And John is just sitting here going, he's like peeing himself, beet red, so I can see him beet red, and in the background her just like laughing. And then finally she comes up. We're done with the night, and I will leave you with this. She hands us the meal, folded very nicely in a bag on a tray with her surgical gloves. And John is laughing, and he goes, "Thank you." And she hands it. She goes, "Yeah, social distances, y'all. I got you, baby. You have a good night. You stay safe." And just John was in tears.
So
we had to pull over. He was laughing so hard. Social distances, y'all. And you know what? Cultural differences, it is what makes day-to-day worth living. So lady between 30 and or 60 at Taco Bell who made our night. I really appreciate it. That's just one of those silver linings that a lot of people miss. What's your silver lining? What has brightened your day? Comment below. Let's keep this a little bit positive. Same thing even as it relates to Rhett and Link. We'd love to have a conversation. Don't be mean, because then we end up being like their angry lesbian producer. Thank you so much. This has been Good Morning MugClub. We will see you Monday morning.